Hello, and welcome to the Regional Association of West Quebecers RAWQ Talk series. In this series, we will welcome speakers from across the region to join us and present on various topics. The RAWQ Talk series is made possible under the Secretariat for Relations with English-Speaking Quebecers through the Community Health and Social Services Network and its Enhancing Regional Community Capacity Initiative. Today, we will hear from Merling Sapene, the founder and CEO of M Transition.
Thank you, Haley, for this opportunity. And for me, it's a great pleasure to be with all of you here today. My name is Merling Sapene. We're going to talk about change management, how to manage our emotions. But before that, I would like to introduce myself. I come from Venezuela. I'm an immigrant. I came in the year 2000 with an amazing dream to become a Canadian. And after 20 years, I can say that I have my family, I had an amazing life, and my expertise is change management. I did a master's in Concordia, and my whole life I have been connecting with organizations to help them to evolve. I'm a wife, mom, two amazing young guys. And I believe in the possible. I have been able to surpass many difficult situations to integrate in this new society, and I'm a very passionate person. I teach at McGill change management for now many years. So today we're going to talk about change management, but not change management in organization. We're going to talk about the individual change management, okay? As I was mentioning, when I came to Canada, I went back to school. I had to learn French. It was very difficult for me to cope with all those changes. And in the past, I used to help organizations to cope with change. But when it happened to me, when a major change happened to me, it was very difficult to overcome those barriers. Through the years, I was hired by Bombardier as a director of change management, and I have been able to evolve and also integrate in this society. I led an initiative called Passion for Flight that today is impacting 80,000 kids here in Quebec. And one of the things that I would like to share with you is that as an instrument of change, is very important. It's not only to take care of our internal growth, but also think how we can contribute with the society. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is that even though I'm an immigrant, I could contribute and I could influence to make the society better. I also wrote a book called Immigrant: A Bumpy and a Smooth Road, and it is about a guide to help immigrants to integrate here in Canada. So this is me in a nutshell. Okay, so today we're going to talk about, as I said, managing change. There are many theories that can support our thinking and evolve our conversation. We're going to talk about the change curve and the 4 stages of growth. We're going to learn about the difference between change and transformation, and also understand the change curve and the emotions. And also we're going to share about the key insights to grow through the change and transform. And I will bring it back to a personal story. I left Venezuela for different reasons, political reasons, and it was very difficult for me because it was leaving everything behind me. So I left my beautiful country and came to Canada. And this has been an amazing opportunity for me to grow and change, because just starting again in a new society, it was very difficult. Maybe you are living in a major transformation. Now with the COVID and everything that is happening to us is impacting the way our life in many, many ways. So through this story, I'm going to start doing like a parallel in the theories in change management. When we face change and something impacts us from outside or inside, the difference is what values and what belief you stand for. My values, the values that I hold on in this major transformation when I came to Canada, are the following. Number one, I believe the impossible is possible. So when you're going through a major crisis or change, it's important to believe that yes, it's possible to go through. We are a source of value, and in a new society, I decided from day one that my accent was not going to be a showstopper for my career. Also, it's very important to understand that everything that happened is to make us grow, not to destroy us. It is important to be grateful and concentrate on the good things that happen to us. Something very important is to learn and continue grow. It's the secret of success. It's continue growing and evolving and learning is key for going through the change curve. And something very important, cultivating relationship and love and cultivate relationships. That is critical for managing change and coping with the changes. What is the difference between change and transformation? Change happened to me when I arrived from Venezuela to Canada. Then, well, I was in the beach, and now I am here in the cold, etc. So it's just the physical change. But the transformation happened when the emotional journey started from the day that I arrived to the day that I felt home. So that is the difference between transformation and change. And we can see the evolution, our own evolution, by transforming our interior. We're going to talk about the change curve. When a change happens, impact us, we are in shock, then we deny what happened. There's a lot of frustration. Then we go through depression, experiment new things, we take the decision to change, and then we integrate the change. For example, with this COVID-19, we received the shock. We didn't believe that this was going to happen. Then we deny, wow, no, this is not going to happen here in Canada. This is in China. Then you get frustrated because you cannot see your kids, you cannot go out. Then there's a period of depression because everything changed and now we cannot go out, etc. And we all live this depression in a deep and wide way in a different ways. And then we start learning and growing through the process until, well, we integrate and now we are connecting through internet and trying to live the best way we can. So this is an example in how the change curve plays into the journey of transforming ourselves and our inside. Now, what happened when many changes happen at the same time? Change saturation. It is how much change is going on compared to how we can handle it, how much we can handle it. Nowadays, this is what happened to us. It's not only the COVID, maybe the way we work, we cannot travel. Also, many of us, of you, just change careers or lose your job, etc. So how can we cope with those changes? How can I survive? How can I become a better person through this storm and not let this situation to kill me as a human being? So the skill and the knowledge and understanding how to cope with change and how to survive and grow through it is key for our success nowadays. So that's why I am passionate about change management, all those theories. I use it in my own life first, and really it has been helping me in many ways in my personal life. So change management is about understanding our emotions. Even though we go through the shock, the pressure, etc., what are the emotions that play in my heart while the journey is happening? It's about being aware. When we say about change management and individual change, the heart is being aware of our emotions and the emotions that we face, that we experience when we face change, and also this help us to control it or at least intervene. For example, if I recognize that I'm feeling depression, well, I go and reach out for help. And that's why many nonprofit organizations are there to help us to go through difficult times, or friends, or people that are very close to you. So the secret of managing change and growing through change and transformation is to being aware, is understanding what happened to you, and also take the decision. And there's one thing that I would like to share with you. From shock to depression, we do not learn. And what is the breaking point between depression and experiment is the decision. No one can change unless you decide to change. Until you decide, I'm going to move forward. I remember when I came to Canada, when I was in the middle of the depression because I could not succeed in my job, etc., because of the French, I said to myself, today I decide and I'm going to learn French, and I'm going to be able to work in French. And I took the decision to make it happen. And I decided I'm not going to go back to Venezuela. I'm not going to let this situation to break my bones. I stand up today and move forward. That is the breaking point between the success and the failure when we're coping and going through change. And then, of course, taking action, experiment. I went back to school. I had 2 kids and married, and then work and study at the same time, had a very intense job. So it's very important to experiment, to go forward and decide that your life is going to be different in spite of the situation that you're living. And then, of course, integrating is merging the situation and the environment with you, and you being able to bloom in the new environment. In my heart, still Venezuela in my heart, because I love my country, but I am Canadian and I'm here in Quebec and I love Quebec. And in fact, I use myself to do sessions in the government to help to raise the awareness of how important is diversity, inclusion, etc., etc. So it is important to love your new environment and cope with that new situation and embrace it. I always say, when you reject the situation will reject you, and then it will be even more difficult. Okay. Now, the second theory that I'm going to talk about is about transformation. It's about the 4 stages of growth. We cannot transform and grow unless we go through these steps. Okay, this is from Noel Birch, 1970s, and at first we don't even perceive that we don't have that competence. We just ignore it. I will give you an example. When I came to Canada, I assumed that the learning French was not going to be as important as it is, so I was unconscious, incompetent. Then when I started working in French and I started writing, oh my God, I just learned, and I was conscious, incompetent. I knew that I didn't know French, and the impact in my life was a kind of major because I could not evolve. In that point, there's a red triangle here, is the decision. As I said, even, the curve of change, the decision goes when you are in depression, you say, I stand up, I get up, and I move forward. Here is the same thing. Here in the triangle, you decide, if I am incompetent in one area, I am going to be competent. For example, and then you have a conscious decision to move forward, and you start practicing and learning and growing into that until that new skill is you become competent, and you don't think about it. Even, for example, when you are driving a car, at first, when you are like 12 years old, you don't drive a car, but then you notice that you cannot drive it, and then you take the decision, you take classes, and then you embed. You can use this theory in many ways. I will give you another example. in my life, I had a challenge to change something in my personality. I had high control needs. So I knew, and I had psychological tests and also my personal life in general. I noticed that that was impacting me because when things didn't happen as I wanted, I got frustrated. So that means that I was very, very unhappy. So I decided to change, and I started practicing reading. I used to observe myself and take notes to really, and it took me around a year and a half to change that behavior. So about change management in the change curve or the 4 stages of growth, decision is important, and also your own effort to overcome the barrier that is in front of you. Many changes happen that suddenly, and other changes you plan it. But that doesn't mean that you can escape from the change curve and the emotions that you feel. So the key insights today are the following. Number 1, your belief influence your transformation, the depth and the speed. What you believe and how and what are your values is the baseline. It is how you're going to confront, how you're going to conquer and overcome the impact of the change that you're living. For example, the COVID-19, or you have a new job, or you're going through a major change in your life, somebody die in your family, you have a newborn in your family. Any change that happened to you, that impact you, everything, how you cope with the change, it is related in what you believe of yourself and what you believe about how you're going to be going through that journey. You cannot escape from the curve or the impact of your emotions. And this is extremely important. We see nowadays a lot of burnout, a lot of depression, a lot of even emotional sickness, because we normally ignore that emotions are there. And also the emotions impact your health. And I'm going to share with you a personal story that is very impacting for me. Like a month ago, I was operated in peritonitis, and I almost died. The doctor said, okay, when if you arrive half hour later, you're going to be here alive. And I'm here talking to you, and I'm thinking, wow, today I could not be here. I will not be here because I almost died. And that helped me kind of realize that life is in a moment. And maybe what happened to me in my body is the accumulation of a lot of stress that I live in my life in the past. So it is so important to manage your emotions and understand where they are, and also have that process of healing inside to be able to move forward, and do not underestimate it, like panic attack, etc. We cannot escape from those emotions, and that the emotions is like a source of a lot of energy, like good and bad, that can impact not only us but also around us. Your decision marks your growth. If you decide to move forward, you will. Or if you believe that you will stay where you are, you will stay where you are. There are many people that go through major challenges and like overcome major mountains and do amazing things. And other people among us that just stay in our corner, and we're not brave enough to take the decision to change or the situation in our life. We are accountable. We are responsible for our own destiny. Identifying and managing your emotions are a key to your growth. How many of you have said something that you regret after? Maybe you scream at your job because you had a situation with your boss and then you lost your job, or maybe you got a divorce because, wow, I could not hold myself. So there are many impacts and consequences of not managing our emotions. And the last insight is like trusting the process. It's important to understand the change curve how we grow, and trust that it is a process that we cannot escape, and step by step we can move forward by understanding what is coming next and learn how to cope with the next phase. So thank you so much for your attention. And the last message that I want to say is that do not underestimate the change, the curve of change. Do not underestimate your emotions, and go deep into the learning of change management. When I went deep into the human dynamics and all those learnings, it was the key for me to succeed, not only at work, but also in my whole life, my personal life. And I'm very thankful for these 15 minutes, this window to connect with you and be with you. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Merling, for sharing more on individual change management. And thank you to each of you for tuning in this week. Be sure to keep an eye on our YouTube channel as we will have new RAWQ Talk episodes for you to enjoy. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay in the loop. For more information about the Regional Association of West Quebecers or to become a member, visit our website www.westquebecers.ca. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at West Quebecers.